I'm the sophomore class Student Government Association representative, and I will be your tonight's announcer for your event. I would like to thank each of you for coming to the City Council Forum. Thank you to each of the candidates for coming and speaking to the members of the community. For all of you for coming and listening to what your City Council representatives have to say, and to all of our Berea College sponsors for making this possible. Before we begin, I would just like to highlight tonight's sponsors from the college. So we have BPAC, which was the organizer for this event. BPAC is the Voter Empowerment and Political Awareness Coalition, and they are a nonpartisan coalition of faculty, staff, and students who are committed to bringing students into political process, providing education, and breaking down barriers to electoral participation, and encouraging students of nonpartisan policy solutions. The SGA, or Student Government Association, is to facilitate student participation in campus governance by bringing about increased individual and group understanding of responsibilities in democratic life, and by promoting positive ideas and actions in the interest of the students. And finally, KFTC, or Kentuckians for the Commonwealth, is a nonpartisan grassroots organization of over 10,000 members across Kentucky. KFTC works to impact a broad range of issues, including coal and water, new energy and transition, and economic justice and voting rights. And now I'm going to be passing it over to our moderators, who will introduce themselves and explain the schedule and rules for tonight's discussion. Guys.
Hi everyone. I'm Jack Gallagher. I'm a sophomore here at the college. I'm a representative of student life. And tonight you'll see me making some hand signals because I'm going to be timing for the moderators. We have 7 people here, so it's going to be pretty tight, but I think it's going to be a good night.
Hi, good night everyone. My name is Berenice Davila, and I'm here representing Kentuckians for the Commonwealth. I'm a rising sophomore at Berea College, and I'll be one of your co-moderators tonight. I'll be reading off some questions for the candidates, and I'll be passing it back to Destiny.
Okay, thank you so much. To begin, we will have the candidates give their opening statements. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to let you know who they are and what their platforms are. So our first candidate that will be speaking is Vincent Owen Quinn. And Vincent, you have 3 minutes.
I'm running because this government is just overspending on every level, city, state, federal. Too young for state or federal, so city. I'm trying to get young people involved in government because our generation is the least participating generation in history of voting. And we need to fix that. I want to listen to the people, not just do what I want in there. Transparency is another thing, and infrastructure.
All right, thank you so much. All right, the next person is Stephen Cottle, not Caudill, Cottle.
My name is Steve Cottle. I am running for my 3rd term on the City Council, and I have thoroughly enjoyed my time serving the city of Berea. I am a proud father of 3 young daughters, and they drive most of what I do in terms of why I continue to take part in the political process. I think it's important that we continue to grow our city for the next generation and the generation after that as well. We have to always be mindful of making our city not necessarily what we wanted it to be in the past, but what we want it to be in the future. And I think that's always important to think about young people when we're looking at that. I'm very proud of the work that I've done on City Council. One of the biggest pieces of, experience and expertise that I bring to the table is both from a financial standpoint, in governmental accounting and budgeting. I work at Eastern Kentucky University in the finance administration. I am the finance administration business officer for EKU, and that experience leads me to be able to do a lot with our city finances. And then also the municipal law side of it, having coursework in Master's in Public Administration is something that really helps me. I want to continue to grow our infrastructure while maintaining that as well. One of the biggest complaints that you hear is that streets are crumbling or things like that. And serving on the Public Works Committee has served me well, and I think that the work that we've done there has been good for the last 4 years. I'm very proud again of what we've done over the last 4 years while I've been on the City Council, and I want to continue to make Berea as great a place as anybody would ever want to live, because we have a beautiful city, and sometimes we miss that because we see it every day, and others recognize it more than we do, but I want to continue to grow our city and make it a place that people want to live.
Fantastic, thank you. All right, so our next individual is going to be John Payne.
I'm John Payne.
Got my vote.
I'm John Payne. I'm a 45-year-old father of two. I'm a product of Berea Community School, Berea College. I spent my labor position at Boone Tavern, spent a few years as a substitute teacher, and 18 years working for the public library. I enjoy public service. I work as an IT support services manager, and I hope to bring that skill set forward to improve communications, to make effective partnerships with members of the community to solve some of the problems that Berea has had. I want to work to make the improvements that we need in infrastructure, to build those partnerships with the factories to get people trained to do the jobs that the factories need. I want to ensure that the emergency responders get the assistance that they need. I've actually been working with Citizens Police Academy, and I'm getting ready to go on my second ride-along, because if we want to help the officers, it's important to me that I know, what they're already doing rather than trying to rewrite the book. I want to help improve the quality of life of Bereans by improving the parks, the shared use pathways, the things that we do when we're not at work, when we're not at home watching Netflix. I want it to be a place that people want to come and raise their families, and I want it to be a place that they want to come and open their businesses, and it's all tied together.
Thank you so much. The next representative that we'll hear from is Sune Frederiksen.
As you can hear, I have an accent, but we all come from somewhere, generations back. I happen to be an immigrant to the United States. I have been in Berea for almost 25 years, and I think it's important to be involved in community life, in civic organizations, no matter what. I have various background. I have a background in education and taught college level for 13, 14 years, and I have taught at a sports academy. I taught at a vocational school for 3 years, and currently I'm self-employed and also a part-time realtor. I have been a restaurant owner in Berea for 8 years, and I'm proud to say that during one of the times I had staff, 20 or 22 people. We covered about 15 languages. And I was also a soccer coach for many years, and my team consisted of players from Mexico, Guatemala, China, Liberia, Clark County, and Berea. So it is a mixture, and so is my family. I'm Danish, my wife is French, Scottish, Cherokee. My son was born in Guatemala. I have a stepdaughter who's married, two grandchildren we have, and I have a cousin in Canada, and for many years people from my family have immigrated to the United States. So I'm not the first one, but it happened. It started back in 1854. So my platform is Berea. That's what it is. Other people might say it's a street department or the cultural life, but I think you need to see it from a holistic point of view and say Berea is my platform, and it has to be all the council members' platform. But there might be other things that are more important. Some things are more important than others. I have a strong background in tourism, in the hospitality business, and I want to work on that. I think tourism needs to be evaluated in town, and we need to be looking forward to the future. What does tourism look like 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and where can we be on the forefront when it comes to development? I think it's important that we educate and train our handymen, people who want to work with their hands. They need opportunities and to be trained. So if we can afford it and if we have the guts to do it, I think a vocational school could be a great thing to build. My job as a city council member would be to build partnerships. I prefer to be a member of a party that is called the Clean Sheets, and that's where we want to start from and build partnerships. There might be some other people who want to build roadblocks. We get nowhere at all. So partnerships is the most important thing. I'm not afraid of paying taxes because that is what creates a strong middle class. The middle class in Berea, in America, is falling apart and we can't afford it. I think in every strong community, the middle class is the one who carries the society. So we have a restaurant tax in town, and I'm absolutely for it. And at one point when it was first introduced, when I was a restaurant owner, I think I was the only restaurant owner that was for it. And I'm still for it. It gives a lot of potential to Berea. It probably has to be evaluated how things are taken care of because our society changes all the time. We also have property taxes, and it's very, very low in our area. It might be good to raise that if it's needed. So that was a little bit about me.
All right, thank you so much. So now can we hear from Darnell Martin?
My name is Darnell Martin. I've lived in Berea all of my life. I was born and raised here. One of our past mayors was my doctor that brought me into this world. Several times I've had good times in this building, down over the hill when it was snowing. I'd like to see Berea get back to that area. Take care of the people, take care of the kids. I've got 6 grandkids. I've had 2 businesses in Berea for 30 plus years. 22 years with Uncle Sam, 1 year overseas. Just like to see things back to where they were.
All right, thank you so much. And now we will hear from Emily Ladouceur.
Thank you for that pronunciation.
You're welcome.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you to DPAC, KFTC, and SGA for putting this forum on. My name is Emily Ladouceur. That's how you pronounce it. Okay, it's French. And I'm a 2004 Berea graduate and former collegium member here on campus. I'm a proud alumni and excited at the prospect of representing a part of the community I hold very dear. Like many of you, I have watched as current public officials and those vying for office disparage women, mock the LGBTQ community, and single out individual community members and leaders in distasteful ways. I'm here to tell you that that is not the Berea I know and love, and that does not represent me, it does not represent us. I would like to bring a different type of leadership to the council. My campaign slogan is "Be Heard," and as simple as that message is, the current political climate might have you thinking that being seen, heard, and valued are privileges when it should be the norm. My goal is to offer leadership to our community that is not only competent, but compassionate, and those two qualities should not be seen as mutually exclusive. I cannot represent every Berean physically, but what I can do is elevate the voices and stories of those who are not heard, particularly and especially those voices that have been marginalized. To the students who are here, please do not let anyone bully you or convince you that because you may only live here for 4 to 5 years, that you don't deserve to have a say in the local government that serves you. And I say that because it's important that we're thinking ahead, and in particular for students, we serve a 2-year term if we're elected. That's 2 terms in your time as a student here. But also you should be thinking about council members today become mayors tomorrow, become governors the next year, become senators, become presidents. And so voting for who you think should be a leader in general is important. So please get out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Finally, we will hear from Virginia Bland.
Hi. First I want to thank you all for having this forum tonight, and thanks to everyone who came out. I know you probably have better things to do than be here. My name is Virginia Bland. I'm a mother of 2, an 11-year-old daughter and a 20-year-old son. At 5, my son was diagnosed with autism. Most parents are advocates for their children, but when they have special needs, the advocacy seems never ending. You hear no a lot, or that they will never do this and they will never do that. So you have to fight constantly for your child to have a better future and to not listen to the naysayers. I worked as a computer programmer for 10 years. During this time, my main focus was creating business and accounting systems. So I am very familiar with budgeting and accounting processes which are needed to run a small city. For the past 15 years, I have been an advocate for persons with disabilities. I travel to Frankfurt to meet with legislators and discuss policies affecting persons with disabilities in healthcare, employment, and education. More recently, I have helped the city address issues with compliance to the Americans with Disabilities Act. I feel that these life experiences and occupations make me qualified to represent citizens of Berea on the city council and at the state level when needed. Berea has so many untapped resources. We need to form partnerships for the betterment of our community. Having children at the community school, I have seen multiple partnerships between the school and Berea College. I've watched my children and others benefit from STEM programs that are held in the summer. I've watched them partner to provide math camps for gifted students. I've also seen partnerships using Seabury for swimming classes for children in special education. We need to create partnerships and build on those that are available to provide services to our community. 2 of the main issues I see facing Berea are poverty and the drug epidemic. We need to work together to find solutions to these problems. We need to start at the root. Are there people living in poverty that feel hopeless and turn to drugs for escape, or are people prescribed opioids and become addicted and then become homeless? Whichever it is, or whatever combination, we need to work together to face these issues. I would also like to see the city government work with the school boards, county and state, to bring a vocational school to this end of the county. I think we have many citizens that would benefit from vocational training. Not everyone can afford or even wants to attend a 4-year university. Another concern of mine is the divisiveness in this town. In the last couple of months, I have seen glimmers of hope of people working together. I've seen small group meetings across party lines where people are only focused on the issue at hand and not the background each person has, whether it's their religion or political views. Over the past weekend, I watched hundreds of people come together with one goal in mind. Not once did I hear someone criticize someone else over their religious or political beliefs. We need to learn from this. We can work together for a better Berea. I've been an advocate in the community as a private citizen, and I would like to continue that as a member of the City Council.
Thank all of you all for your opening statements. At this time, I will be passing it over to Jack.
Okay, thank you. Okay, there we go. Thank you everyone so much. So now we're on to the very exciting part of the night, which is going to be questions. First, it's going to be some pre-prepared ones that students have asked. We're going to be calling some people up, and we're also going to be reading some that have been submitted. and then we're going to open the floor and have people start forming a queue after those conclude. But before that gets started, I'm going to just read some rules for the candidates really quickly, and then Berenice is going to read some rules for the audience. So just really quickly, candidates, you'll have up to 2 minutes, since there's 7 of you, so we got to tightly control the time here. You'll have up to 2 minutes to answer each question. Additionally, each candidate is allowed 1 30-second period to respond to anything said by another candidate. And we will keep time there. So the hand signals I'm going to do for you all is going to be 1 minute, 30 seconds, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fist, you're done. If you hear the chimes, that means you got to stop talking, okay? 7 of you, we don't have that much time. I don't think it'll be a problem. You guys seem like a nice group. A 10-second grace period will be granted for each time of speech. Once you hear the chimes, that means that grace period is over. And so that is everything for the rules for you guys. I'm looking forward to hearing your answers.
And we're just going to start off by asking that you please be respectful of the candidates and other community members, out of respect for the candidates and the ideas that they represent. We're just going to ask that you hold the clapping and cheering for only the introduction and the closing. So just waiting till the very end to give claps or anything else. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to pre-prepared questions from clubs and organizations from the college. And I would like to ask that Christina Anderson from the Harvey Milk Society please come up and ask your question.
Okay. Hi, my name is Christina Anderson, and I am the co-president of the Harvey Milk Society, which is an LGBTQ activist organization here on campus. I'm also one of the co-organizers for the kind of controversial Berea Pride that's been planned for this week. So my question for you all is, would you vote yes on a fairness ordinance for Berea?
So we're going to start on the left and then just go down to the right.
So, in terms of fairness ordinance, this is the 3rd time that I've run for city council, and we always get bring this up, and so I always have the same answer. I don't think that the city government should take on a fairness ordinance, and the reason for that is that the city of Berea has no judicial power, and so the only way for us to do anything about that is to then take that to circuit courts and state courts and Supreme Courts and et cetera. And it's been proven time and again that those don't stand up very well in terms from a legal standpoint. So like the city of Lexington recently had a case where it lasted 4 years and they lost. And so from a legal standpoint and a cost standpoint, I don't think that it makes any sense for us to take on a fairness ordinance. So I think that if we want to do things when it comes to those, in terms of fairness ordinance, I think it makes more sense from a state or federal level.
I would be in favor of a fairness ordinance, but I'm not going to say I'm going to vote for it. I want to read it, sit down, look at it, study it before I would commit to a vote, yes or no.
Yeah, the question was if we were for or against a fairness ordinance. We need to study it first. We can say if we are for or against, if we don't know what the content is. But I know there is one in Berea. I read it a couple of years ago, and at this point I can say I'm not against it, but I need to study it further. And I can say when I ran Main Street Cafe for 8 years, I had many employees over the years, and several of them were lesbians or gays, and it was not a problem for me or for anyone else or for my customers, I hope. So we're all citizens here.
Well, the fairness ordinance did come up about 4 years ago. We had town forums where we heard person after person talk about how they were discriminated against. People lost their apartments, people lost their jobs. I wish we had voted yes 4 years ago. And given the opportunity, I would vote for it again. I think that it's going to take the small towns to speak up, to get the state to listen. And as Steve said, the state is the one that's going to have the real teeth on a fairness ordinance, a fairness law.
So yes, I'm in favor of fairness all the way. I think it's a question of priorities when someone says we can't afford it. If it's something that we value as a community, then we should put the teeth behind it necessary to make it happen. And I think what you'll find if we had the incumbents here tonight, they would probably bring up the discrimination statement that they passed and point to that as being enough. And I'm here to say it's not enough. And the language is out there, you can read it. We have passed fairness in several, 11 places now in Kentucky. So I think it's disingenuous to say that the information isn't there for you to know whether you would support it or not. And I fully support it.
Well, I don't think we need an ordinance to tell us how to get along. We should be able to do that without having that problem. I mean, I was born and raised here and probably went through some things that some of you people don't even know about. But I've made it 65 years, so I don't think I need an ordinance to tell me how to do it.
As a person whose family has been through harassment, discrimination, it's not something I ever want to see anybody have to face. We've been through the court system. We know how cases of harassment get pushed off